Okay. Yeah. Put this. No, I'll put it here for now. DC adapters, very handy. Keep those set aside. Hey guys, what is happening? Gerry in the lab, as always. Hunting around for Sega GameGear parts to repair my Game Gear. That's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to find these. I had like a dedicated pack of capacitors, right, to replace all the failed capacitors, and that tends to happen in a lot of the Game Gear units. Is the electrolytic capacitors will fail over time, right? When it's like after 15, 20 years, they just start to fail and they leak all over the place, make a mess, and it's a pain in the ass. And you got to go in, you got to replace them in order to restore the electronics and the functionality of those units. And so that's what I'm trying to track down. Because there's specific values for the Game Gear units, and I know I have ones that would probably work. They're close to it, but I'm like, I know I have a dedicated pack where I had ordered, all the values specifically for the Game Gear that I'm repairing. And I know it's here, and I'm just determined to find it. And so that's what I want to do in today's video, is to go through and just get my Game Gear up and running again. It had been a long time since I'd done that, and the lab is in just chaos right now after moving my desk in the last video. And yeah, I just thought that would be a cool thing to do today, because I just did not feel like cleaning the lab. And I was just like, ugh. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to find this pack. I know I have a whole bunch of parts that are specific for the Sega Game Gear, and back in college, I was tinkering around, fixing Game Gears, recapping them, doing homebrew, and building flash cartridges for them. That was a big part of what I did back in college. And so I know I've got a bin here full of those parts, and I'm determined to find it. And I know it's here, so it's just a matter of hunting and tracking it down. So that's what I've been doing. And I know it's here. So I want to find them. Parts, capacitors, ceramic capacitor, 1UF, diodes, a bunch of diodes. These are FPGA boards, custom. More capacitors, holy moly. What do we got here? 1000 UF, 10 volt. Awesome. Holy cow, I got all these parts here. Ceramics, IDC heads. What do we got here? These are MDR50 connectors. DC adapters, capacitors, MDR50 connectors. Sweet LCD displays. LCD displays, but not what I'm looking for. More IDE cable. 7-segment displays. Industrial relays. But not what I'm looking for. Here, this is... Oh, these are... Oh, cool. These are... Yeah, these are the... Essentially, it's a floppy drive emulator, right? So you stick a USB stick in there, and then you hook up the drive to a regular Windows 98 PC or an IBM PC, and it reads the hardware just like a floppy drive, but your USB stick is essentially being emulated as a floppy disk. So you can transfer files to whatever system very easily. And that was very, very handy, and they're still used for like big industrial machinery, you know, and manufacturing, where it's just, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars to, you know, replace or upgrade, and if not more, in the millions, right, depending on the system. This was a really, really cool way to accommodate USB sticks onto these if the company wouldn't provide an interface. That was a sort of a very popular way, was to just swap out a floppy drive and then use one of these floppy drive emulators. So very, very cool. And those are very handy for, you know, gear that came out in the 90s where floppy drives are still popular. That's a cool little adapter, essentially, to use as part of your system. Very handy. What do we got here? Oh, cool. These are, oh yeah, these are, oh, the VHS case. That's pretty cool. Old school. These are old GoPro lithium-ion batteries. These are awesome. They're really handy for, you know, small projects where you want to throw in a battery, a lithium-ion battery. That's really cool. Handy to have. I got a bunch of these. And I'll have to build a charger for these or something. That's really cool. Handy to have. Okay, but not what I was looking for. 3906 transistors. Blast. Okay. Holy moly. Okay. Over there, holy moly, check out all this gear. Heat shrink tubing, industrial. Power supply. This is a EEPROM programming unit, I think. Or it might be a disk on chip programmer, custom. Cool. 12 volt. DigiKey order. What is this? These are expander I2C devices. Okay, cool. Those are handy for projects. Programming board. Oh. These are disk on chips. Yep. Disk on chip 2000. These were essentially the very beginning, you know, of the USB stick, essentially. It was right around that time when USB was getting popular, and M Systems came out with these solid state hard drives, essentially, but it was released in a DIP package format like this. And even today, a lot of engineers get confused with these because they think that it is read or written to using like a standard EEPROM programmer or a universal programmer because it is in the DIP package format. Right? So they assume that's the format that this memory device is used for, so they hook it up, and then when they check the library of algorithms, there's just no listing for the M Systems disk on chip. And the reason for that is because it's not a standard memory device. It operates essentially as a solid state drive, right? And so the way that this works is you have to interface the pins directly to like an ISA bus in the old Windows 98 machines, right? The old IBM PCs. And you connect all of the address lines, data lines, control lines to an ISA bus directly. And then you run the M Systems proprietary software, which is the disk on chip utility software. And then it accesses and can interface to the memory and access it on that interface just through DOS. Because it's literally detected like a hard drive, like a C drive, B drive, however you set it up in the BIOS, right? And so that was what was really cool about these. and they essentially, it's a solid state device, and you would usually get between, 30 megabytes all the way up to, maybe several gigs. I think that they did go maybe 2 gigs back at that time. And so you could, set up and install your OS or a backup system on it. A lot of the time these, industrial machines that use these, right, like SBCs, single board computers in industrial settings, right, very compact, that would not be, hampered by vibration. That's where these came in. And that was the sort of sought after thing to use, were these disk on chips. And anyway, yeah, so in order to download the data off these or repair them and, run diagnostics on them, whatever, you have to do that through using their proprietary software and interfacing this directly to the PC's ISA bus. Anyway, a very, very cool solid state drive, early solid state drive from the 90s. And that was the M Systems disk on chip. And again, you can't use a universal programmer to read or write them. It's a pretty unique thing. All right, so not what I was looking for. Oh. Sega GameGear. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is it. This is what I was looking for. So the capacitors, got the capacitors. Okay, so we got some capacitors, but still looking for the little part here. Oh, is this it? Aha! There it is. There we go. Finally found it. Yeah, that's it. That's the little contact pads for the push buttons. Sweet. That's what I was looking for. All right. Okay, so we've got the GameGear ready to rock. We're going to remove all of the electrolytic capacitors off of the main board. And that's to restore the LCD when you have a dead LCD on your screen. Now, this has just been done to death on YouTube, right? There's tons of tutorials and guides to show you how to do this. So I'm just jumping ahead and doing this. It's just something cool that I wanted to do today, and I'm bringing you guys along for the ride. So let's dive into it, shall we? Here we go. Now with all the capacitors replaced, we should have sound and the display should also be working. Give it a test. Oh, check it out. There we go. All right, we got battle tanks. Awesome. That's awesome. All right. Man, that is so cool. Been a while since I played the Game Gear. So that is the video today, everybody. We recapped my old Sega Game Gear and it's working flawlessly, which is great. And I don't know if it's just me, but I like looking at the screen quality, I was like, man, I don't remember it being that bad. And, you know, I thought it was better than that, but it could just be my memory, but man. And then it got me thinking, maybe that's why everybody's doing those, the screen upgrades, the LCD upgrade kits that you can get for these. You know, they've done it on the Game Boy, and apparently they've done it for the Game Gear as well. So that might be something cool that we could do in a future video, would be to get one of the upgrade kits. And I might actually have one. I sort of recall now that I might actually have gotten one, and I just forgot about it. Maybe not, I'll have to check. But that's something cool that we could look at potentially doing and installing an LCD and compare the differences. That's kind of cool. You know, there's that, or we could even dive into doing like a flash cartridge. That could be fun too. Those are always awesome. I did that back in my college days, so that could be cool. Oh, I just thought of something pretty awesome. The memory mapper on the Sega flash cartridges, we could implement our own using an Altera Max CPLD. That's awesome. I love that idea. That's a cool project. All right, I think this might be lining up into something for a future video. So we'll look at potentially doing a flash cartridge, maybe throw some RAM in there, or do the CPLD memory mapper and implement that in Altera Quartus. That's so cool. I love this idea. Well, we'll dive into it. We'll see where we get. And maybe also, again, look at doing an LCD upgrade for the Game Gear. That would be cool and fun. All right, everybody, that's today's video. Before we go, I want to remind everybody about my merch page. QR code for you guys right here. And I've got capacitor mugs, capacitor tumblers. I've got hats, t-shirts, hoodies. I've even got beer cozies there. And it's super cool. And for any tech out there that's got a shop or a lab, capacitor mugs are a popular one, and it's just a cool conversation piece to have. And it's just cool. And so, yeah, that's there for those of you that are interested. And it's a great way for you guys to help support the channel and everything that I'm doing here, creating content for you guys. And it's just awesome. So that's today's video, everybody. Please hit the like and subscribe if you can. It's always appreciated. And we will see you in the next video. Take it easy and bye for now. Ciao.